Not all canal tunnels tell stories of hardship and disaster. Some stand apart as quiet triumphs, like the Husbands Bosworth Tunnel. Built in the early 1800s, this tunnel represents a remarkable achievement for its time, a success forged by skilled hands and innovative techniques, setting it apart from many of the grueling and deadly canal projects that scarred the industrial age. Constructed between 1810 and 1813 under the guidance of engineer Benjamin Bevan, the tunnel was part of the Grand Union Canal's Leicester Line, a strategic link pushing trade further north. It was designed and built with no intermediate ventilation shafts, and that was unusual, especially for its era. Most canal tunnels relied on vertical shafts dropped from above. They let in air and gave workers multiple entry points to dig in from. This method sped up work and offered escape routes if things went wrong. But Bevan chose a different path. At Husbands Bosworth, excavation was carried out from both ends only. No intermediate shafts, no extra access. That's a slower, riskier approach with only 2 working faces and little margin for error. But it did work. The tunnel stretches 1,166 yards, or about 2/3 of a mile, and somehow, despite the limited access and greater difficulty, it was completed in just 3 years, with no major collapses or disasters on record. This was a rare thing indeed. Boaters of today's era noticed something different too. It's known as a dry tunnel. Clean brickwork, very little water ingress, a testament to the quality of its construction. It doesn't flood, it doesn't drip, it just holds. But with no through tunnel ventilation shafts, there's a hidden cost: air quality. Back in the day, narrowboats were horse-drawn or legged through by hand. Fumes weren't an issue, but now, powered boats chug through with engines on full and diesel lingers. The air gets thick with the diesel fumes. In fact, it gets so thick that most of the time you can't see the end of the tunnel until you're at least halfway through it. Headaches, coughs, sore throats, these are just some of the symptoms you can expect from one trip through a tunnel without a ventilation shaft. Because without ventilation, there's nowhere for the fumes to go. With a fully loaded boat taking anywhere up to 3 hours to pass through a tunnel, that's 3 hours the leggers would be trapped underground. Today, Husbands Bosworth is still boat only. No towpath runs along inside. It remains tucked quietly beneath the Leicestershire hills. But don't mistake that silence for insignificance. This tunnel wasn't an accident, and it wasn't a fluke. It was a triumph, carefully executed, well planned, and ahead of its time. While the Crick and Blisworth tunnels are remembered for their delays, danger, and death, Husbands Bosworth is remembered for how right it went. A smooth build, a solid structure, a victory for working hands and for the engineer who believed in doing things differently. Just because the success was a quiet one doesn't mean the story is not worth telling.